Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Jay. Here to talk about the news that we're hearing a lot of today. That's shocking, basically everybody, and that is the death of actor, two-time Oscar winner Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman, he died was yesterday in his home in New Mexico, along with his wife Betsy Arcarawa. They've been married since the 90s. Apparently, the death is very mysterious. Initially, people thought that it was carbon monoxide poisoning. They went to the house, they found that there was no carbon monoxide leaks in his home. Neighbors called and were alerted, and it said basically, that they hadn't been out in a couple of days. So they go and do a welfare check in their home. They find not only is Gene Hackman passed away with his sunglasses right next to him, so make it appear as he fell. But they find the wife in a state of mummification. Her body is already decomposing, which means that she was dead for a couple of days before they even knew about it. Also, she had a empty bottle of prescription medication next to her. So immediately when I heard this alert. David says Gene Hackman is his favorite actor. This alerted me to maybe the wife, maybe this was a murder suicide, guys, because for some reason, also, the dog wasn't just dead, the dog was stuffed into the closet, but there are two other dogs that are still alive. So David knows this case very well. Not this case, but another case now I'm about to reference that this is very similar to. Two cases that I'm going to reference that this is very similar to. This case seems very similar to the Chris Benoit murder-suicide and the death of Phil Hartman in the 1990s. Both committed by the spouse of this, by a member of that couple. Phil Hartman, his wife, killed him, and then when Chris Benoit case, he killed both Nancy Benoit, his wife, and his son Daniel. This seems to be something similar, just speculation, but maybe Gene Hackman's wife murdered Gene Hackman, the dog, and then murdered herself. It's a possibility, because they were saying all day that it was monoxide poisoning, but it doesn't seem, they found no evidence of monoxide poisoning in Gene Hackman's house. So being so, David, that Gene Hackman is your favorite actor, what do you think of this theory? What is your opinion? Do you think a murder-suicide by the wife is possible, much like Phil Hartman's case or the Benoit case, where a spouse had gotten angry with another spouse and killed them and then felt remorseful about it, or maybe under the influence of prescription drugs, she'd have done this and then felt remorseful about it and then killed herself unalived herself in the process. Maybe, I don't know, but let's talk a little bit about Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman was in his 90s. He won 2 Oscars, one for a movie that I love, The French Connection, in the 70s. He was very prolific politically. He was actually on the enemy list, and this is very suspicious too. He was on the enemy list of Richard Nixon way back in the 1970s, Why Gene Hackman was on the enemy list of Richard Nixon, I'll never know. But one of the interesting things, another interesting tidbit about Gene's life, was that he was present, serving in the military in China during the time of the Chinese Revolution in 1949. He's a former military vet. I remember him mostly. Maybe David can chime in a little bit more about other movies that he loved from Gene, but I loved Superman. I love Mississippi Burning, and I love The French Connection from him. I also loved him in Hoosiers as the coach. But this just shocked the entertainment world. To me, I think maybe the wife was mentally unstable. They were having problems. Maybe he has some kind of inheritance that she wanted to get to. Or it's possible with Epstein's list coming out, maybe Gene, being an old Hollywood vet, knew a lot of things about Epstein's list that's just been released as well that a lot of people are talking about. So there's a lot of conspiracies I'm sure are going to develop over the next couple of days about this case. But man, this is sad news to hear. But when I heard it, it reminded me immediately of Benoit. And David says he's in shock. The Replacements in 2000 was David's favorite. Yeah, David, and the way it happened, I don't know. It just reminded me so much of Benoit's case and Phil Hartman's case that I feel like this was internal. Like this was a murder suicide perpetrated by the wife. I could be wrong. You know what I mean? But when I heard the dog was stuffed in the closet and two dogs remained alive and only one dog was dead, I'm like, this was either a home invasion or this was premeditated. Because it'd be one thing, I would buy the monoxide poisoning storyline if there were monoxide poisoning. But the dog was just there laying dead. But the dog wasn't just there laying dead. He was stuffed in a closet. So, it seems pretty suspicious to me. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like she killed Gene, and then the dog was possibly barking, and then she got mad at the dog for barking. She realized that she was guilty for killing Gene Hackman, and then she killed herself, and then she killed the dog. And David says Keanu Reeves and Gene Hackman were his two favorite actors. That she killed the dog, and then stuffed the dog in the closet, and then went to go kill herself. You know what I mean? That's just my murder mystery mind going at it. But maybe this could have been an inter-Hollywood cabal. We don't know. But if that is the case, it'll never come to fruition. But police are still investigating. But they find it very suspicious. That's the word they're using now, very suspicious in regards to his death. But they don't know if it's his murder yet. But I'm saying, like, I keep saying it over and over, but when I heard this case, I'm like, Phil Hartman. This reminds me of Phil Hartman and Benoit. Spousal homicide and suicide, on the part of the wife. So, yeah, that's all. He made so many movies, man, like a laundry list of movies. He was one of the greatest actors of all time. And that's why I think this is hitting a lot of people hard. Anyway, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell button to see my next videos coming out. Love you guys. Thank you, David, for contributing. As always, welcome back to the channel.